All right, happy Monday, everybody. Let's get started with our weekly industry update. Going over our 4 major counties, Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino. We all know to be TCPA compliant. Super important, you guys, because it is we're in a very litigious state, first of all. But those who are on the do not call list, we have to respect that. Doesn't mean you can't door knock. It doesn't mean you can't do other things, but if they are on the do not call, don't call that number. Now, that's different from permission marketing, right? So if you've got permission, that's different, okay? So, all right, let's talk about Los Angeles County sales trend. We have got 16.4% more inventory for sale, properties on the market as compared to last month, 16.4. Overall, we have got 39.3% more inventory on the market than we did last year. That is a lot more inventory on the market, which is great. That means that people who have been in their homes and have finally decided that they are going to put their properties up for sale. So that's really great that we have 39.3% more inventory on the market. We've got 0.2% less sold or closings than we did last month. 0.2, not even a percent, just 0.2% less than we did last month on closings. 2.7% less overall than last year on closings, okay, as compared to last year on closings. Pendeds, we got 49.6% higher. That's great than we did last month, okay? Now, keep in mind, I know we're only on the first 8 days of the month, right? This is the real number. We've got 0.6% lower on pendants than we did last year at this time in the year. So through January, through the first 8 days of February, and it's a low percentage, right? 0.6% less pendants than there were last year at this time in the year. We'll keep an eye on that. 24.6% lower as compared to last month on new listings. However, 12.8% higher than it was last year on new listings. Okay, so new inventory coming on the market, we've got 12.8% higher, which is great. All right, so average active price as compared to last month is 6.9% higher over last month and 12.6% lower overall. So average active price, sellers are asking for 12.6% lower than they did last year as compared to last year. However, they're receiving 11.4% higher than they did last year, okay? So although they're asking for less, they're receiving more, okay? So you got, again, this is an opportunity for us to be hyper-local and look at your specific area and what your area is actually doing, okay? Months of inventory, this is definitely, we're seeing the new listing inventory, the average, the active inventory is all up, right? So we know that these numbers are going to be higher. Months of inventory is 31.1% higher than it was last month. Last month at this 8 days, we had 3.5 months of inventory. We currently have 4.6 months of inventory. We are up 49.4% over last year. We had 2.8 months of inventory last year. We have 4.2 months of inventory currently, you guys. So we definitely have approached that normal market in LA County in some areas. Now this is overall LA County, right? So we would have to look at your specific area in LA County to see if we are actually at this point, at the 4.2 months of inventory. All right, but that is a good sign overall that we are moving in the right direction into a normal market, which then will translate or potentially go into then a buyer's market. Okay, Chris, did you have a question?
I do. So how do I look up like Downey, Norwalk, all the surrounding cities around here to get that?
InfoSparks, using your InfoSparks.
Okay.
Okay. InfoSparks is on your MLS, on DAOR, right? It comes with your MLS. And InfoSparks is one of those tools to analyze data in a specific area.
I have PWR, so I'll have to look and see how theirs is. But I'm sure I can figure it out.
Oh, you have PWR? Yeah, and even better with PWR. PWR has different tools Actually, I think PWR has InfoSparks too.
I'll look it
Um,
up.
but they have another tool I used to love to use with PWR. It's just a report, and you can pull the report by city.
So I have it right, because I already did look it up, so you're right, I do have it. I'll look up what I have, but
Yeah,
I'm sure that is
it's
correct.
very cool. And it gives you a recap and everything. All right. So average days on market is up 20.5% higher than it was last month. We were at 39 days on market last month. We're at 47 days on market currently. 18.9% higher as compared to last year. We were at 37 days on market. We're currently at 44 days on market. So of course we're going to have higher days on market, right? If you have more inventory coming on the market, you're going to have a higher days on market, right? Because buyers now have more to choose from. If they had less to choose from, you're going to have less days on market because things are going to be taken and getting snapped up quickly, right? All right, sold versus original list price, 3.1% lower than it was last month. We were at 97% list price last month. We're at 94% of list price currently. And 1% lower overall. We were at 96% of list price last year. We're at 95% of list price currently. So these all make sense, right? More on the market, more inventory coming on the market, right? Which then gives buyers more choices, which creates more competition between listings, which means that then they are not going over asking anymore, but potentially going under asking, right? So that's where you get, these numbers should start to really make sense to you. They should tell a story, right? And they should tell a story that you then can articulate or communicate to your clients. All right, let's look at Orange County. Orange County for sale is up 14.9% higher than it was last year, or I'm sorry, last month. And then new listing, I'm sorry, and then I'm jumping ahead. And then 49.9% higher than it was last year. So definitely we are seeing more inventory that came on the market as compared to last year, almost 50% in Orange County. That is a huge number, right? That much inventory coming on the market. But if you guys remember, we were starving for inventory last year in Orange County and still are. So, and we will see that in our months of inventory, our absorption rate. So this number being 49.9%, I'm like, bravo, right? We need it. All right, sold is down 6% over last month. Closings, right? Properties that have actually closed escrow, and down 0.3% over last year. So very, very nominal decrease, right? 0.3%, not even 1%, okay? So we'll keep an eye on that number to continue to hopefully go up. Pendants are up 42.2% over last month. Properties that have actually gone into escrow are up over last month so far, first 8 days, and up 1.8% over last year. All right, so in Orange County, 2 of the 3 major sales trends are in the green. New listings have gone down 28.1% over last month. However, they are up 2.9% over last year. So not a lot, but they're still in the green. So 2.9% increase on new listings, okay? So again, we'll keep an eye on that because we want to see that number go up, but we still have more inventory than we did last year to the tune of almost 50%, 49.9%, right? Average, I'm sorry, Marlene, did you have a question?
No, darling, I was just clearing my throat, excuse me.
Oh, no, no worries. Average active price is up 7.4% over last month in Orange County and down 4.1% over last year. So sellers are asking 4.1% lower than they did last year, okay, in Orange County. However, they are receiving 6% higher than they did last year, okay? So they're seeing 6% appreciation over last year, okay? What they received last year, 6% higher than it was last year. So that's good. I mean, and that's a very reasonable number, right? It's in the normal range of appreciation between 4 and 7%. So that's a good number, right? All right, months of inventory. So look here, guys. we're still in 3 months of inventory, right? A 36.7% increase over last month. Last month, we were at 2.2 months of inventory. Currently, we're at 3 months of inventory. Over last year, it's a 53% increase. We were at 1.7 months of inventory last year. We're at 2.6 months of inventory currently. So you see here, unlike LA County, Orange County, even though we're seeing these big increases of more inventory coming on the market, you see that we're still in a seller's market in Orange County to the tune of 2.6 months of inventory. So we definitely have to be careful with saying that, you know, the things are changing. They are changing. However, not as quickly in some counties as others, right? So you've got to be careful about that. And you've got to know your market. You got to know your area, which is to Chris's point about doing research in your specific area. Okay. So average days on market, 10% lower than it was last month. We were at 40 days on market last month. We're at 36 days on market currently. And 25.8% higher than it was last year. We're at 31 days on market last year. We're at 39 days on market currently, which makes sense, right? More inventory, more days on market, okay? Sold versus original list price is up 2.1% over last month. We were at 95% of list price last month. We're at 97% of list price currently. However, a 1% decrease over last year. So last year we were at 97% of list price, currently 96% of list price, which is still good, right? We're in the 90s and we influence this for our sellers. So we got to be careful about, we're seeing this inventory start to come on the market. That means pricing becomes a big deal. We really do have to price our properties properly, price our properties properly, because we want to make sure that we're keeping our sellers competitive. Right? So that's important, because if they're not competitive and they're still trying to get that really, really, really high value, right? That is not supported by the market, then they are going to sit there and then they're going to come down and come down and come down. Okay. All right, let's look at Riverside County. We're rolling through these. Let's look at Riverside County. Riverside County for sale properties are up 9% over last month. So 9% more inventory. 48.6% higher than last year, you guys. So again, Riverside County, we're seeing that big number, right? Just like Orange County, 48.6% higher for sale properties than we had last year. And then solds, closings, 2.6% lower than it was last month and 5.4% lower than it was last year, okay? So we are seeing closings go down so far to the tune of 5.4%. over last year. Pendants are up 59.3% over last month and up 13.4% over last year. Okay, so what is that? What are we saying is that pendants, being those that have actually gone into escrow, right, are up. So 2 of the 3 major sales trends in Riverside County are in the green, which is a good sign, right? And this one, the solds, I mean, it's in the red, but not by much. So we'll keep watching that. And remember, the forecast for our market, for our industry, is that there are going to be 400 to 500,000 more closings than there were last year, right? So we are expecting, and that's spread out over the United States of America, right? So, so we're expecting this number to actually be in the green when it's all said and done. But us looking at this weekly, we're seeing the trends. We're seeing what's going on. It gives us a good idea where we're going to end up, right? So we're going to keep an eye on that. All right, new listing inventory is down 26.4% as compared to last month, and 9.3% higher as compared to last year. So again, lower this month so far, first 8 days. However, overall, we are higher on new listing inventory as compared to last year to the tune of 9.3%, which is great. Average active price is down average active price is up 0.2% over last month. That's a very small change, right? And down 5.9% overall. So sellers on average are asking for 5.9% less than they did last year. However, they're receiving 6.5% higher than they did last year. Okay, so 5.9, they're asking 5.9% lower. However, they're receiving 6.5% higher than they did last year. All right, months of inventory. Wow, look at there. Currently, we're at 6.1 months of inventory in Riverside County. That is a 24.3% increase over last month. Overall, we are at 5.1% in months of inventory, which is a 64.3% increase over last year. Last year, we were at 3.1 months of inventory. Now we're at 5.1. So in Riverside County, you're probably seeing a lot of, sellers being aggressive with their pricing. And buyers have choices in Riverside County. And again, you got to be hyper local, look at your specific area, but that is what these numbers are going to suggest, is that we are getting into that normal market where buyers have more than one choice, right? And they are, and you're probably, sellers are probably seeing one offer versus several offers. I'm even seeing that here in LA County. I had a great listing in Carson and I got 2 offers. Now, I think the agents were thinking like I was thinking, is that, okay, I'll get multiple offers and it's going to be uber competitive, because the first offer I received was a $30,000 over asking price offer. Okay. So, and it appraised. So, of course we accepted that, right? Now, the second offer I received was at asking price. Okay. Now we did get a lot of inquiries on it, but just showing you, that maybe a year ago, it would have been different. We'd have had multiple offers just like that, because we did have multiple showings, or 2 years ago, it'd have been different. And we would have gotten multiple offers over asking. Okay. So you've got to keep your sellers realistic, because they could be thinking about those days of, multiple offers well over asking. You got to set their expectations up front. Otherwise, they're going to be in for disappointment, right? And we don't want to disappoint our sellers. We want to create raving fans. All right. So average days on market is up 8.7% over last month. We were at 46 days on market. We're at 50 now, and up 10.9% over last year. We were at 46 days on market. We're at 51 now. So again, keep that in mind. As more inventory comes on the market, of course, your average days on market is going to climb. Okay. So versus original list price, no change across the board here. Over last year, we were at 96% of list price. I'm sorry, over last month, we're still there. A 0% change, and the same, we're still at 96% of list price. We were there last year, we're there now. Okay, so sellers are receiving 96% of their list price. Again, that's a great number. We again help influence that number, so we've got to do a good job at pricing the property correctly so that we can get our sellers 100% of their list price. San Bernardino County, moving right along. We are at 5.7%. For sale properties are 5.7% up over last month, and 41.5% higher over last year. So again, more inventory has come on the market as compared to last year, to the tune of 41.5%. I think in all counties, we were pretty much up. Like, I think LA County was probably the lowest. I think it was in the 39% or so. But here, 41.5%. So everybody is pretty much between that 40 and 49% increase on for sale properties, which is great. Again, we needed the inventory, right? Sold properties are down 26.4% over last month and down 7.1% over last year. So we'll keep an eye on that. Closings, those are closings. They're down 7.1%. Pendants, properties going into escrow, is up 19.7% over last month and down 4.2% overall. So properties going into escrow is down 4.2%. So again, we're going to keep an eye on that as well. New listing inventory is down 4.2% over last month. However, it is up overall 7%. All right. So we are seeing more new listing inventory on the market to the tune of 7% increase over last year. Average active price is up 3.9% over last month and down 2.6% over last year. So sellers in San Bernardino County are asking 2.6% less than they did last year. However, look at that. They're receiving 8.6% higher than they did last year. All right. So again, these numbers suggest that you've got to dig into your neighborhood and know in your neighborhood what that increase or decrease is, right? In your area. Are sellers getting 8.6 in your area, or are they getting 4 or 3, right? As compared to last year. And quite frankly, your sellers probably care more about what they're going to net, not necessarily how much more appreciation year over year they're receiving. They want to know how much they're going to net. Now, a seller who maybe not ready to sell or thinking about selling may want to see the trends so that they can look at how to forecast, you know, should I wait to sell or should I sell now? Right? Or what's the market going to do next year? Am I going to continue to appreciate? So that's where you guys can give them some guidance based on the trends. Absorption rate up 60.7% over last month. We were at 4.1 months of inventory. Currently, we're at 6.6 months of inventory. And then over last year, 57.6% increase over last year. We were at 3.1 months of inventory. We are currently at 4.9 months of inventory. So just like Riverside, we are definitely moving into that normal market, and we'll see how long this holds, or if we're going to blow right through and go into the buyer's market, right? Anybody got any predictions on that? What do you think is going to happen here?
You know, that's a good question, because I was listening to the news this morning, and depending what happens with tariffs and metals and this whole thing with the new administration, my question is, how is it going to affect real estate? If metals, you know, this whole deal with the Chinese or the Japanese getting into all this stuff in our country. I'm just curious how that's going to affect everything. I don't have an answer to all that, but I think we'll see something different. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mike?
No. Yeah, you're probably right, Chris. What happens, because why does it impact us, right? It impacts us because it impacts the price of goods and services.
Supply
right?
and demand, right?
Say it again.
Supply and demand. My guess is, I don't know how our supply is going to be for us. No.
And that too, right? That too, supply and demand. And also, if it costs us more to bring in those goods, because they're going to counter that action, right? So if it costs us more to bring in those goods, then we're going to get, as a consumer, we're going to pay for that, right? And if your income, if you have less money, because you're spending more money on groceries, you're spending more money on all the things, because we basically import so many things. So if you're spending more money, then you have less money for a mortgage. And so some buyers may hesitate to buy until they see what's going to happen, right? And they see what the impact is of the new administration's, what do you call it, laws and tariffs and things that are going on, right? Moves. So yeah, it can cause disruption in the housing market. It can cause, you know, for things not to move as quickly. Matter of fact, I think it already has. And that is why Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac has already revised, and the National Association of Realtors has already revised the number of closings that they said we were going to have. They started off by saying we were going to have 600,000 more closings than we did last year. Now they've revised it to 4 to 5, right? So it's already, you know, starting to impact us, or at least the outlook. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Chris, great point. All right. Average days on market. Anybody else? I'm sorry, I just rolled right through. Anybody else want to make any comments on that? And it's not a political discussion, you guys. This is really just about, because it could be any administration, right?
Yeah,
Whatever their changes
I
are.
don't think we should make it political because the last couple of years, the housing market hasn't been the greatest. And so I don't think it's, I don't think it's whoever's in office. It doesn't matter at this point. But Rich did say last week that it's the economists predict a 10% increase in sales. So, which is better than last year. Right?
Absolutely, which is
Yeah.
that 400 to 500,000 more transactions.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Shelley. It's not political. It's who's ever in office. They're going to make changes, right? And those changes could impact the housing market one way or the other. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
It is what it is. Yeah. Absolutely. But regardless of that, right? We have to know how to interpret that. We have to know how to communicate that and how to help our clients overcome whatever hesitation they have regarding those, what's happening in the political scene, and how that's going to translate. We have to help them because they could be sitting on the fence because of that. And we have to help them and say, no, don't sit on the fence. Regardless, you've got to have a place to live. And regardless, you're going to be paying interest that you can't get back, right? But if you own your own home, you can actually get that back. You can get a portion of that back, right? There's so many advantages as to home ownership. We should be able to spout them like this so that we can help buyers get off that fence. Okay. All right. Average days on market, 22.2% increase over last month. So we are 45 days on market last month. We're at 55 days on market currently. And then an 18.2% increase overall. So we're at 44 days on market last year. We're at 52 days on market currently. So versus original list price, a 1% decrease over last month. We were at 98% last month. We're at 97% of list price. And then overall, no change. So last year we were at 97% of list price, currently 97% of list price. All right, sellers are receiving 97% of their list price. Again, that is a good number. All right, any questions about it before we go on to upcoming events?
I agree with this. Not to make any of this political, and I agree that whatever the administration is going to do, time we have a new president, and to understand what's going on. So if somebody asks us and how to better explain why they should continue looking for a property because of the market or maybe what they perceive as the market being, I think we just need to be informed.
Absolutely, Chris. No doubt. We absolutely right, because otherwise we leave it up to the media channels, right? To give the narrative.
Exactly.
And they're all about propaganda. They're all about fear. They're all about, creating that uncertainty and keeping people hooked on just watching and getting their updates from that. And half the time it's not even the truth. So yeah, we want to be that trusted resource for our clients so that they come to us for real estate information and to understand what's going on in the market. And that means we have to be comfortable with it, which is why I appreciate you guys being on this call every morning, every Monday morning, because we got to get comfortable with this data. We got to get comfortable with the economics so that we can explain it in simple terms. Because if you can explain it in simple terms, it means you understand it. Right.
So Brand, I have a question because I talked to the very first person I actually bought or helped him buy his first property. It was my first listing too, or my first piece of business in the industry. So they were asking me, so, what's going with real estate? I mean, how would you answer that in this market without, and maybe they need to be more specific, but how would you answer that?
I'm sorry, what was the question, Chris?
So I had somebody that asked me, how's the real estate market? Somebody had previously helped them buy a home. So What would you say in this market right now? Or maybe all the time, how would you answer that question? What's the best way to answer that question?
So what I normally say is, it depends. So I say it depends. Where are you, what are you looking to do? Buy or sell?
Got
That's
it.
the first question, right? Because it does depend. What are you looking to do? Buy or sell? But right now, overall, and then what area are you in? Right now, overall, the market is definitely good. It's good for sellers because sellers are seeing their homes appreciate. And it's good for buyers because the appreciation rate is not astronomical. And there's more inventory coming on the market, which means that buyers have choices, right? And there's not as much competition as there was 2 years ago. However, the other thing that's hurting buyers is the interest rate, right? However, there are things that we could do to help you with that interest rate, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, like a 2-to-1 buy down. And because more inventory is coming on the market, and because sellers are now in a little bit more competition than they were last year or year before last, they may be more willing to actually pay the closing costs for your 2-to-1 buy down. Right? The 2-to-1 buy down just basically means for 2 years, I'm going to buy your interest rate down a point. So instead of it being 7%, it'll be 6%. Or instead of it being 6.85%, it'll be 5.85%. 5.85, or yeah, something like that. You guys understand what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So those are things, Chris, that, yeah, I would say overall, I mean, the market is actually, really good for sellers right now. We're still in, we're approaching a normal market, but in some areas, we're still in a seller's market. I'd love to sit down with you. I'd love to sit down with you and talk a little bit about, talk more about your specific situation. And I can give you a really, a more accurate account of the market. That's kind of how I would approach that.
Got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Anybody else got any suggestions? All right. Well, let's go to upcoming events. Let me see here. I've got to move this. Please move this window. I don't know what that means. Hang on, you guys. Okay, it's going away. All right. So learn and earn at KW. You guys, we have group coaching today, 12 o'clock with me. Conversations in Real Play with me because Diana's on vacation. And then office hours with Ed tomorrow, regional tech training. So group coaching today with me, conversations in Real Play in the morning, 9 o'clock, be there or be square. I will be on Zoom. And then Q&A at 11 here in office with Ed. Tomorrow night, you guys can get on the Ignite, the West Coast. You could snapshot this QR code. It keeps going. So this is great because for anybody who missed it, you could chime in here. Tech workshop with Martha on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Tomorrow, though, we do have tomorrow, right? Is it tomorrow? Am I missing?
That's Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
The 12th is Wednesday.
Ding dong.
Today's 10.
You're right, Shelley. All right. So we're gonna have to make a quick adjustment because you guys know, those of you who attend Martha's class, Martha goes all day with her tech training. So we're gonna have to, I'll see about Martha making an adjustment. We might start her at 12 to 2 or 12 to 1, and then she normally spills over. So I'll see about that. We do have Media Day, Hometown. It is $50 a session. You get 2 videos and some photos. So that is Media Day with Hometown, and that's going to be from 2 to 4. Okay. We already had our one Media Day. It was great. And we got our videos from that. And actually, I'm going to have Gary, because normally he teaches us for the first 30 minutes. So what I'm going to have him do is teach us how to post these videos on our socials. That's what I'm gonna have him do, is teach us how to create a reel, teach us how to post these, how we should be using them, because it's great to get the content. Now what? And I think some of us are asking that now what question. Let me see, who's got a question? Yes, okay. Oscar, are you saying yes to what I just said? You can
Absolutely,
come off mute.
absolutely.
Okay.
I
Okay, Kim, good, good, good. Okay. Yeah, I actually call myself being halfway decent at it, right? Although I don't use it much, but I literally have the video and I was like, okay, do I create a reel? Do I post it to my story? Do I put it on my feed? I was like, what do I do? So I was like, if I have these questions, I know others do. So I'm talking to Gary about making sure that on a Wednesday, that's what we're gonna spend our 30 minutes going over. All right.
So Brandy, you said you got your video. Did they send these to everybody? 'Cause I don't
Yeah,
know.
did you guys get the link?
I didn't.
You did
Maybe I
not?
missed it. Maybe I missed it.
Check from the front desk.
Okay.
Oscar, did you get yours?
No, I have not seen it.
I literally saw the email go out last week, but I'll check with them right now as soon as we're done here. Okay, you guys? Cause yeah,
Okay.
check from front desk for me.
Monica.
Kim, what'd you say?
This is Chris. I said, Monica.
Oh, okay. All right. Then we've got broker hour Wednesday, Thursday. You guys know that at 10 a.m. We got Dollar for Dollars on Thursday with Victor. Thank you guys for showing up. We had a great class last week with Dollar for Dollars and starting to get some traction. That's at 2 o'clock on Thursday. And you guys know this. He's not just teaching how to be on the phones. Victor is teaching best practices on how to get clients, how to talk to clients, how to close clients. One of the things that he's really good at is closing. So if you guys are having conversion issues, this is a good class for you to be in. Okay. And then on Friday, I'm loving this, speed date your ALC. So our ALC, it's like a Valentine's special. You're going to get to know your ALC by speed dating them. Spend about 3 to 4 minutes with each of your ALC members. We're going to have lunch. We're going to have prizes. It's going to be a lot of fun. Speed date your ALC. This is going to be, I'm just excited about this, you guys. It's a great opportunity for you guys to get to know your ALC. And the reality is this, is that these are the people who are here to help you. So the more familiar you are with them and get to know them, the easier you're going to feel when you have a question and nobody's around but one of them, and you can ask. So it'll be cool. Come out, have fun with us, celebrate Valentine's Day, and speed date your ALC. All right, the One Thing podcast. That was last week, your relationship with your goals. There's another one out this week. Make sure you guys are listening to things that are actually going to help you and feed you. And inspire you, right? To keep going. This journey, this grind is like no other, and it can tear you down. That's why you got to feed yourself with positive podcasts and positive things that are going to inspire you. That's why going to family reunion is so good, because it inspires you, right? To keep going. Because it can get sometimes depressing. Sometimes it can feel like, man, what's going on? I'm not getting the traction that I need. You got to keep going. Feed yourself with things that inspire you. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent podcast is another great podcast. I listened to this one while I was on my way in this morning. Crack the code to the niche video ads on social. He was talking all about being able to convert the Facebook ads at a higher level by using videos and creating a niche for yourself, and being able to create videos that speak directly to them. And that is something that again, video, you guys, is where it's at. And a lot of people watch videos. He is actually Arabic. And so, a lot of his videos are in Arabic. That's his niche. So, and he's here in California too. He is a $50 million producer, a million real estate agent. Okay. All right. So the industry news is quick. The mortgage rates, they did dip, and they have been actually going down a little bit. And right now they're at like the 6.89%. And they had been coming down again. Remember, we were in the 7.125, and now they've come down a little bit. So they dipped under 7%. So that is really good. So we have got to, again, make that adjustment in the minds of our buyers. Now, the other thing is that they are suggesting that interest rates, the Fed is not going to cut interest rates, at least now for the next few months. Let me see here. So rate cuts this spring, unlikely, given the new jobs data, right? So the unemployment rate ticked down to 4%. There were 143,000 jobs created in January, which was below expectations, but our wages went up. Okay, they were stronger than the forecast by 0.5% here, right? So right now, that means the Fed has little incentive to cut the short-term rates, okay, when they meet in March. So they're expected not to cut the rate. And although it is not a direct relationship with the mortgage rate, right, normally it has influence on the mortgage rate, okay? So it's probably going to mean that we're going to be in that 6.8 to 7% interest rate. That is what the predictions are, you guys, okay? So again, if it goes below that, that's why Rich and others have said, have your buyers ready so that when it does dip, even below 6.8, maybe we get to 6.5, you want your buyers to be ready to lock and load. Okay. Now in group coaching today, we are going to talk a little bit about that 2-to-1 buy down, that 3-2-1 buy down, because I want you guys to understand it and use it as a tool. Okay. And again, I realize not all sellers are going to be willing to pay that. Okay. However, some.
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry, what did you say, Jorge?
so sorry, ma'am.
Oh, did you have a question?
Sorry, no, sorry about that.
Okay, no worries. So the 2-to-1 buy down, the 3-2-1 buy down, I realize not all sellers are gonna want to pay for that, right? I realize that. However, you want the tool in your toolkit just in case you find a buyer A who needs it, or who wants it, and you find a seller who's willing to pay it. You never know. Okay, so definitely keep it in your mind. Maybe you have a home that's really reasonably priced, right? And your buyer can actually go up. You can actually build it in to the cost of the home. Okay. So again, there are tools that you can use just depending on the situation. All right. 3-2-1 buy down was a big deal when these interest rates first went skyrocketing, right? From 3 to 4 to 6% overnight, it felt like. Okay. So then we started with the 3-2-1 buy down and the 2-to-1 buy down because there was shock and buyers were like, what? 6%? It was just 3%. So this is still that opportunity to use that program. Okay. Any questions? I'm going to stop my share.
Brandy,
Yes, Oscar.
I have a little announcement. I met a guy while I was out prospecting who's a comedian, and he told me he's at the Laugh Factory this Wednesday, and anybody who wants to go see him, he'll leave tickets at the box office for him. So if they could give the names to Monica, Wednesday at 7 p.m., you could be at the Laugh Factory.
Very cool. Thanks, Oscar. Appreciate that. So you guys, Laugh
Oh.
Factory tickets, free Laugh Factory tickets. Give your name to Monica. Wednesday at what time, Oscar?
Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Wednesday, 7 p.m. Thank you.
Which
Okey-doke.
Laugh Factory?
Long Beach.
Oh, okay.
Good question, Marlena.
Very good question.
Which one? Long Beach, you guys. Long Beach Laugh Factory, Wednesday at 7. All right. Well, you guys have an amazing day. Have a great week. And I will see you guys hopefully on group at group coaching here in house at 12 o'clock. And let's have a productive week, guys.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thanks,
See you
Brandy.
later. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Brandy.
My pleasure. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
My pleasure.